Hey guys, good morning. Good to be with you again. You're looking behind me at the 12 apostles. It's the mountain range that runs along behind Cape Town down towards Cape Point. You can't get the full benefit from my little picture here, but it's a beautiful place to be. And I guess it's foundational as well. The 12 apostles are the foundation on which we have built our Christian faith. So I want to talk to you today about what it is that motivates people over a long term to stand in the gap. They've got to have a decent foundation. They've got to have a decent motivation, because there's a lot of people that are out there that will, in a fit of emotion, go and do something that would be in the gap standerish. But I want to talk to you about people who stand in the gap over a long period of time. They're in it for the long haul. Now, there are some times where God asks somebody specifically to do a specific thing for a specific reason at a specific time. We've looked at two of them. We looked at Nehemiah the other day, and he was called by God, and God laid it on his heart. His heart broke, which is a great motivation for standing in the gap when we share the brokenheartedness of God with him. And then we saw Esther, who, for the same reason, God positioned her for such a time as that. And we did that yesterday. But today there's a third motivation, and I think this is probably one of the most common motivations, because it applies to us. There is a specific element to this motivation, and there is a general one. We simply are motivated to stand in the gap. You know why? Because God told us to. Now we look specifically at this, and we can see people like Noah. God searched the earth to find somebody who would stand in the gap. And he found this man who he declared to be righteous. He said, "You are my man, and you are going to save the nation. You are going to save the world. Through you, I'm going to do a great thing." Get building. 120 years later, Noah produced what God had told him to make. He acted in specific obedience, there's the common denominator, to God's instruction to him. It was very specific. There are occasions when God will come to you with a specific instruction. You'll feel it. You'll just know it in your bones. It's like you have a voice in your head that speaks to you and said, "Now's the time. I have a calling for you." I hope you respond well to that when it comes. But there is also a general call to stand in the gap that applies to all of us. Just before Jesus left this earth after his death, resurrection, and now a time for his ascension, he stood on the top of the mountain with his disciples, and he said, "Here is a general call to stand in the gap. You have a message that you have to proclaim to the world. You have a message that the world is dying to hear. The world is on its way to hell, and you need to get out there and share the message. Go into all the world and make disciples of all men, proclaiming the gospel, baptizing them, discipling them, and leading them to God." This is the ultimate call of obedience for us as Christians, when we are called to obey in a general sense which is applicable to every single one of us. None of you gets away from this one. God's commission to you. The shape or form of doing God's commission may vary a little bit. Some of us will stand in a pulpit and proclaim this. Some of us will have to be mothers who will raise godly children, will teach them godly principles. Some of us are going to be businessmen who work in a business, and we're going to be responsible to share Christ according to the commission. And we do that by way simply of obedience. Again, no bolt of lightning, just a general commission to all believers to stand in the gap by sharing Christ with people. Remember, we started this little mini-series thing by talking about taking the hand of God and taking the hand of the hurting and joining them together. That's your commission. And that you do through the gospel. Because when you bring Jesus into the midst and he joins the hands of both of them together and he's in the middle holding hands, you've won. You can get out of there. Your job has been done. But the job is not done until we are put in the grave, people, because the commission of God to reach the world, the commission of God to go out there and to make disciples of all people is a lifetime commission. I don't care if you're like Uncle Doug the other day, 94 years old, man. Yes. I don't care if you're 5 years old. You little guys have got a powerful voice into the world today. You teenagers, for goodness sake, if you could just realize the power of your voice to your peers. You university students, the world is changed by university students. Go and check out history and you'll see how many times the world's direction has been affected and influenced by students coming out of universities. You're in a place of great influence. And God said, are you going to use that? Or are you going to sit back and have a good time? Well, that's your choice, I guess. But the commission of God is specific. When you hear it, obedience is the key. This commission of God to stand in the gap is general. I hope that you will grab that opportunity today. Do you know it's the most joyful place to be in? Man, the sense of being used of God, the sense of feeling in your heart and in your head just rises in your demeanor, and you're just thinking, this is so cool that God is using me. People, He wants to use you. Let's go at it. Stand in the gap. Remember, we do it because it's a good idea. We do it maybe because we've got a broken heart and can't help ourselves. And we do it at the end of the day because God tells us to. You go and have a fantastic day, and we'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.